You can't avoid it on social media. I mean, even if you're just a mild Chiefs fan, you're going to go on your social media feed, and I guarantee you're going to see Chiefs special teams coach Dave Toad with, did I just call him Toad? Well, that's what he deserves to be called. Forget Dave Toab. He acted like a total toad yesterday. That's the nicest thing I can call him. When he had this random explosion of Trump derangement syndrome that just came out of nowhere.
The president criticized the new kickoff rules when he was at the Washington game. What's your reaction?
He doesn't even know what he's looking at. You know, he has no idea what's going on with the kickoff rule. So, I mean, I take that for what it's worth. And I hope he hears it.
Yeah, hope he hears it. Where did that come from? Like, I'm not going to even sit here and rant on Dave Toad. I'm just going to be like, what was that all about, dude? Kietzman's here. Kevin, what is going on with Dave Toad?
Well, it didn't bother me that much because I think they're both right. Look, I don't understand the kickoff rules. We're all watching it. We hate it. Nobody understands any of it. You get a group of people together and say, okay, where's the ball go if it goes in the end zone? Where does the ball go if it goes out of bounds? Nobody knows anything. There's a landing zone. They don't put the shade up. They haven't really tried to teach the rules to these fans. I couldn't care less about the stupid kickoff rules. It's awful. That's all we know. It's not real football. It needs to go college. I watch a college game and I'm like, oh, okay, this is better. Let's go back to this. So Trump is right and Dave Toab is right. Trump doesn't know the rules, but nobody knows the rules. I'm not sure Dave Toab knows the rules, to be honest. I've watched the Chiefs special teams all year. Are they the worst in the NFL? Who's worse at special teams than the Chiefs? And who has more special teams penalties than Jack Cochran? Okay, and he's still out there doing it. It's pathetic. They're terrible at special teams. Butt kicker is now like the 18th best kicker in the league. The punter isn't as good as the guy they had a couple years ago. This was Houston. He kicked last night. His name's evading me right now.
Tommy Townsend.
Tommy Townsend, yeah. He's supposedly got this great leg, but I haven't seen it. What do they do well special teams-wise? They're not any good anymore, and we got to look at Dave Toab at that. So this sounded like a coach that maybe has been chewed out by his head coach a few times this year, and now he's hearing about Trump. Like, I ain't taking this crap anymore. They were talking about Dave Toab as a head coach 4 or 5 years ago. Well, these are bad special teams. It's not just that they're average; they're not good. The Chiefs are bad at this. And the weakest part of their game.
Don't forget, too, even that blocked PAT last week, that was not on Bucker. I mean, the right side of the offensive line, you could have driven a bus through that thing on that blocked PAT. It was terrible.
Exactly my point. That was a poor blocking scheme or somebody missed an assignment or whatever, but they keep trotting the same guys out there that are making the mistakes. Look, college teams, even good college teams like Alabama and Ohio State, sometimes will put their 2 or 3 best players out there on special teams. It's time for the Chiefs to do that. Seriously, if you need to put some of your best offensive linemen out there to block so your extra points don't get blocked, do it. If you need to put, somebody really skilled, if you need to put Xavier Worthy back there returning kicks, do it. Whatever it takes, it's time to start putting your best players on the field. I don't care about the 52nd guy on the roster. They're not good enough on special teams to just play the rummies out there.
It's an excellent point. Kietzman's here. He's coming up with Uncanceled on KCMO. I want to ask you something, Kevin, since I know that you covered this closely when it was all going down. It was before I was here, and that is the Rams leaving St. Louis. Terry Bradshaw was in St. Louis last night, and he talked about how it's a travesty St. Louis does not have an NFL team, and he said we all knew that Stan Kroenke was going to do this and move the team and take them to L.A. When you look on that period of time, is there anything that St. Louis could have done to save the Rams?
Well, yes, through the state of Missouri, like everything else, if they wanted to build him a brand new stadium, it may have happened, but Kroenke probably was going to go to L.A., but he gave him chances for a while, and we've watched the Chiefs and Royals take 4 years now and do nothing. That's kind of what was going on in St. Louis. And then Kroenke said, you know what, I'm done with this. This is stupid. I can go to L.A. and build the coolest stadium in the world and make $1 gazillion, and he did it. But let's not forget, St. Louis had lost an NFL team before that. Okay, they lost the Cardinals. And they've got a huge history of being like the worst NFL city in America. We used to have a chip on our shoulder about St. Louis. Oh, they're a better sports town. They're a better city. Well, Kansas City's the cool city now because we've got a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and they can't keep an NFL team. And these St. Louis people that run around bragging about the St. Louis Blues doesn't work with any football fan or any real sports fan in America. So they've blown it. They clearly have no commitment to NFL football, and it is not a travesty. They've blown it multiple times, And I think they're about to lose the Chiefs in the state of Missouri. So maybe we need to look at Jeff City.
All right. How about that? You know, you were in the meeting last week when a major advertiser was here, and they had made a trip to St. Louis. They then came to Kansas City, and they said the quiet part out loud. They said, you know, we thought we were going to like St. Louis more, but after spending a couple of days there and a couple of days in Kansas City, we like Kansas City a heck of a lot better. And, you know, you're right. You think about a generation ago, I mean, St. Louis was kind of the most Western East Coast city, and it kind of had that panache to it, and now that's totally gone.
It's completely gone, and if they try to say anything negative about Kansas City, we just laugh it off now. The one thing that has happened over the last decade with the Chiefs being so good, and some of the things we've done, I mean, you know, I know there's controversy about a new airport terminal. There's been controversy about the hotel downtown and Sprint Center being built and all these things. These improvements in our city are really positive improvements, and it's one of the reasons why I understand why the Royals want a new stadium. Those ballparks are done out there as far as I'm concerned. I think the Chiefs probably will go new, but I don't know. Maybe they stay where they are. We don't really know. But these improvements have made us a better community. It's put us ahead of St. Louis. We're just better in a lot of ways. And we really did have a chip on our shoulder. We were kind of embarrassed. They pick on us, people from St. Louis. We all know people from St. Louis. And they pick on us, and we feel bad about ourselves. And we didn't have a comeback other than 85 World Series. And then, you know, now we just laugh it off. If they try, well, they don't even say anything anymore because they know. Mm-hmm. If they're not doing as well as Kansas City. They're just not.
And the political power is shifting as well. Like this guy, John Patterson, who's Speaker of the House now in Jeff City. This side of the state has not had a Speaker of the House in like 100 years until John Patterson. He's now launched a big state Senate campaign. I even think you're seeing the political power shift away from St. Louis. Springfield's always had a lot of it, but it's now coming up our way with some pretty competent people in the Kansas City area. So everything from the sports to the politics is moving out of that hub of St. Louis. And not that it's totally gone, but it's just not what it was. And I think that'll be beneficial in many ways for Kansas City. What about you?
I agree. And you know, if Mayor Cleaver is gone, if this redistricting puts him out, it puts a Republican in there in a new district, that's going to be progress for that district. I know there's a lot of Democrats that won't agree with that because they're into, you know, free grocery stores and free buses and all this other stuff. But it's going to get better for everyone in that district in a lot of meaningful ways. It will work for them. And I honestly think they redrew the map there instead of somewhere in St. Louis because the competition with Kansas. St. Louis, Missouri doesn't compete with Illinois. I always believe competition is good. I know these governors said a long time ago, we're not going to compete. I think it's good that Kansas and Missouri compete against each other. And Missouri does not compete against Illinois in the St. Louis area. They haven't had to. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a positive thing. If Cleaver's out and a Republican's in, it's going to get even better over here.
Kevin, have a great weekend, my man. Uncanceled is right around the corner, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks.
There you go. Kietzman on 95.7 FM. Uncanceled coming up right after the news. Have an awesome weekend. Go Chiefs. We're back on Monday morning at 6.